Hey guys, so here we go. We are going to do this fun picture of flowers with a cup of tea. I'm excited. I hope you are. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie. This is Deliberately Creative. We are doing our fun, cozy designs. This is day 3 of my cozy designs. I am slowly catching up from taking a break over the weekend. I think there's going to be a couple days where I do 2 in a day. I may not go quite as late as I did yesterday. I think 6 o'clock might be pushing it a little bit late for my East Coast friends. So we'll probably do like an 11 a.m. or a noon for one of my paintings, and then maybe a 4 o'clock or 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. So that would be putting it about 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Let me know in the comments if that works for you. Also, leave me comments after the video. It helps the YouTube algorithm know that people like these shows. I love seeing the comments during the chat also. So if you're looking for a fun place with very kind and loving souls, come hang out in our chat and make some new friends. You know, this is kind of hard right now to make friends out in the real world. So let's make friends here with our creative community. Let's go. All right, so I am going to be doing this fun, that one right there. I put the image that I used as my reference. It's right here on the page. We're going to be using some of the inexpensive watercolors, and we will be using some watercolor pencils to do the details. I was thinking these flowers might just get a little bit fiddly. You can use regular watercolor on them still, but you know, let's just have some fun here. I am going to be getting this background wet. I do need to close my door because I'm hearing random noises from the living room, and I don't know if that's really what we're hearing. But this is going to be a calm and cozy, warm. We want this month to be something that when we look back at our pictures, we're going to go, oh my gosh, how fun. Let's see. I am looking here and excellent. The link is working. We've got watercolor pencils. We're working on a piece of the bamboo mixed media by Hannah Mule, I'm not sure. And if anybody speaks German, let me know how that's supposed to be. I am going to go around these flowers. We're going to put sort of a soft gray, brownish gray in the background. I'm not too worried about going over the leaves. I kind of want to leave the flowers as white as I can, but you know what? It's going to be interesting. Let's see. Good morning and welcome. All right, we've got Gail and Barwood Art and Sue and Jen, and I know I saw other names going by up here. Oh yeah, we've got Joanne, and yeah, I've got a whole bunch of friends showing up here. Debbie, welcome. All right, guys, thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for hanging out, for doing something creative, taking care of yourself. You know, it really does make it so much easier when we fill our own cup first so that we have some space in our lives to share with those that we love. You know, it takes up space in our lives if we're really, really tired, or we don't have, the creative energy. Sometimes it takes creativity to just figure out what to feed your family, you know? So just remember that. Taking some time, paint these paintings in your head. You know, look at that and look at this painting and think about what colors would I put there instead of what Stephanie's doing. what would I do instead of what the artist that's teaching the class would do, you know? Because you guys have awesome ideas. I saw Linda, one of our students, one of our fun community, she posted on Instagram the first two paintings from yesterday already. And I love what she did. She took the book from yesterday and titled it with her brand name, her Bake Play Be Mom Be You, I think is what it was. And she's on Instagram and on Tangi. So it's lots of fun. All right, I'm going to go in and make, I have enough room on here to grab these colors, I think. I'm going to take a bit of this yellow ochre. I'm looking at that background. It's kind of a beigey tone. So I'm going to take some yellow ochre. This is sort of moving around a little bit because I've got a roll of tape under here. Maybe that one's too big. Oh, that's better. It's not going to bounce around so much. Hey there, Linda. I was just shouting you out. Were your ears burning? So I'm just getting this kind of brownish tone. I'm going to water it down a lot. And just sort of work it in around the flowers. If some of it gets onto the flowers, that's okay. This is very light. And I'm looking at that going, I'm going to probably cut it off right about here. I didn't think about that before I wet the whole background. So it's going to be a soft background. We're just going to work this color in and around the flowers some. By doing this now, when we go in with our watercolor pencils, we can bring out some of those details. And if we need to, we can throw a little bit of gouache in there. I do have a tube of white gouache. And any white gouache will work, or acrylic paint. You know, if you need to get back to the white of your paper, the white gouache is really nice. Especially if you don't have too strong of a color in your way. But yeah. All right. Yeah, I was saying the paintings that you posted from yesterday are amazeballs. Let's see. I think I'm going to just sort of do that. I'm not too worried about making that, like I said, making that totally perfect. Woo! I've got drippy water on here. Put a little bit more of that color up in the corners. I'm not making the whole background exactly the way that reference shows. The reference has this lovely folded piece of black and white striped fabric. And I didn't put the spoon in because I sort of zoomed in a little bit and maybe I shifted over. And you can simplify. You don't have to make something as detailed as what it looks like in the reference. You can simplify things. I think what I want to do, I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm going to fold kind of a hard edge. It's still soft, but kind of a hard edge on my paper towel. And I'm going to make a kind of go across. And you see how that just wiped out that line there? And I think I'm going to continue that line across over here. So I'm going to pick up this paint. Just blot it. So now we've got kind of a continuous line where the edge of this table will be. And I'm going to actually, I think I'm going to do the table kind of like the reference, where it looks like it's a white marble. But it's not really super white. It's kind of a bluish marble color. I'm going to take that blue-gray. And I'm going to, because the paper is sort of wet, and if it isn't wet all the way, I'm going to just get these lines wet after I get them wet, put on there. So I'm going to wet this down afterwards. Look at that. I'm right up on the very top edge. Let's see if we can see that from the side view. I'm going right up on the top edge flat of my brush. And this is kind of like what they would do if you're making marble. You would take a feather and sort of use the tip of the feather, let it sort of dance across to make that marbly type of shape. Let's see. Yeah, there. Just got an Amazon delivery, your Helix maker. Woo! Oh yeah, you're welcome, Gail. That Helix circle maker, what she's talking about is this, is so cool because you can make really big circles, like, 4-inch circles, 5-inch circle if you go to the outside circumference. It has all the standard circles inside. And you can do just gradiated circles. So cool. Yeah, and it is in my Amazon affiliate store on one of those links. And if you can't find it, if you clicked my link to get there, all you have to do is just do a search. I'm going across the paper and kind of softening just with a clean dry brush now, or clean wet brush, sorry, damp, just a clean damp brush. Paint lifts on this paper so nicely. I am going to put just that edge of that right there. I'm going to take a little bit of the gray inside. Oh, this is so cool. Actually, I want to put a tiny little bit of that back here, so it feels like that table does kind of drift off into the background. Doesn't that look like marble? Yeah. So look at that. We've got a soft, a little bit warmer background. We have the marble already put in. I am kind of regretting having put that heavy shadow there, but you know what? I'm going to dry this, and then I can work on adding a darker shadow around to make that sort of work in. So let's get this dry. We have most of our background done. That marble tabletop is done. I'm not going to do any more to that. So this paper does, and this, like I said, this is the Hannah Muley paper. I'm not sponsored by them. They did send me some paper to use to put into my stash for my studio, and so I'm thanking them just by talking about it. And I also want you to know, because I haven't used it very much, so I want to play with it while you are here so that you guys can, know what to expect if you go and use this paper. It is mixed media paper. This is not actual watercolor paper, but it does say that you can use watercolor, acrylic, pastels, pencils, colored pencils, all of those. It's a softer texture paper. It doesn't have a hard sizing in it. I'm going to wipe that puddle off right there and right there so I don't drag anything through it. And yeah, I'm sorry, it's taking a little bit of time because I did wet the paper down completely. Now the paper does get kind of wobbly and bendy. Let's see if you can see that already. It's kind of lifting up. Even though I have it taped down, it's strong enough to lift this up. The tape I'm using is just drafting tape, and it's kind of a no-name drafting tape. It came in a 3-pack, and it doesn't tear the paper. So it's kind of like having artist tape, but this is the artist tape that draftsmen would have used. Hanamula, Maiula, Hanamaula. That sounds Hawaiian the way I'm saying it. It's not. It's German. So it's Hana Ma Ule? Hanamula? Hanamula. Okay, so Hanamula. I'll have to ask the gal that's the... I'll have to ask. But, oh, wow. Okay, I am really happy. I want to take some, a little bit stronger of that blue with a little bit of some brown. Make it more gray. And I'm going to go in. The shadow actually is kind of running to the back behind the cup, but I want to sort of also have incorporated that extra dark shadow that I created. I'm going to soften these shadows. There we go. Hana, or Hona Mula. Hona Mula. Hona Mula. Ah, thank you. Hey there, Julie. Welcome. All right, so now what I want to do is just grab my number 12 round. This is the Mimic Creative Mark. They are not sponsoring me either. Jerry's does not sponsor my channel. I do buy stuff at Jerry's Artorama though sometimes. They have really good sales. But I also use lots of other brands. I am not a total, totally attached to any one brand. I am softening out that shadow a little bit so it feels a little bit like that shadow is being cast back. Whoa, almost did something with my cup there of water. Now I'm going like this and I am softening up that shadow from the cup. The water does lift the paint on this paper really nice. There is no actual sharp definition between those shadows. There's a bit of a connection shadow. They're very close to each other. I'm just kind of just looking at that reference and going, what can I do? Because I've taken some things out. I wanted to work that dark shadow in that I had drawn with the pen. So that's the reason why my shadow actually came down or round forward a little more. I've shifted my my vantage point. Actually, this shadow color, that little bit of shadow color that's on my brush, will work to help me start adding shape. Whoa, that's really bright. You can't see that. Let's tip this up a little higher. Ah, there we go. So I'm looking at that and going, where's the shadow? There's a little bit of some cast, like reflected light coming back up from some other things. Mostly it's stripy in that reference, and that's because of the striped cloth. So if I'm getting a reflection back now, it's just from the table, which is fairly smooth, so I don't have to have a lot. I am going to come around to the front, even though the light is coming in. I want to get some shape in here. I want a little darkness up inside. We are going to be using the watercolor pencils to do the flowers, so I'm not too worried about those right now. A little bit of shadow up in here, inside the leaves, under the flowers, just a little bit. Just working it in darker. This is a gray blue, so it was a blue that was mixed with a little bit of burnt umber or sepia. I'm not sure what color it is. It doesn't say. And you can always use a little gouache. Absolutely. I could always use a little gouache right there if I wanted to soften that shadow. I might do that. Let's just lift that up. Because I'm working in very light, with a very light touch with that gray, I don't want it to look like it's a gray jug. I want it to look like there's shadow and reflection. So I'm just lightly putting in some shadow underneath. I will probably push a little bit of the blue back in to give me some shadows, but you know, maybe not. Maybe I can get it with this soft gray. This is not a black, and I didn't use any black to make this gray. It is made with blue. Now that handle is all the way in the back, so you're really, it's very gray down in there. So I'm going to take some of that blue. You can't see me take it, but I'm just grabbing some of that Prussian blue and a little bit of that sepia or burnt umber type of color, making a nice color here. Because I push this back, there's less of the handle showing. I've mostly covered it with flowers. So yeah, going in and doing things like this, making choices with your colors, helps you. It helps your brain, it helps me calm down. I don't know. Maybe I've heard from other people that they're enjoying the series of paintings on my channel lately, that it feels like they're able to accomplish the artwork, that it's not so hard, and what do I want to say? It's not such a process, a hard process to do these, because I do break it down into small steps. See, and I'm just going in, I'm taking just a darker version of the color, that same color, just a little more concentrated. That's what it is. It's not really darker, it's just more concentrated. So, and I'm going to pick up some of that and drop it down inside around some of those flowers. I'm going to soften up that little shadow down here. This paper is awesome for allowing you to soften up your shadows. And I am going to go ahead and put some shadow on that side of that cup. See, the paper is wet, and I'm kind of moving myself around to places that are a little bit drier. You're FaceTiming at some point with your friend's birthday party. Aw, that's lovely. That is lovely, Julie. So I've got a little bit of that sort of reflected light left around the edge. All I did was just not paint that edge. I'm just letting it be white. This has a bit of a shadow on the top of the handle where it's sort of coming down towards the cup. The handle is kind of blocking that. I'm going to say that there's a bit of a shadow on the inside right here, because that just makes me happy. There's a little bit of a shadow on that edge. See, this is very monochromatic right now, isn't it? It could be done that way completely. I'm going to grab a little bit more here, make a little bit more of that darker gray color with the burnt sienna, burnt umber or sepia tone, and the Prussian blue. Because I want to put some shadow in, a harder shadow around that little tag, and kind of right here so that it's got a bit more presence. Feels like it's lifted up a little bit. This was added. This was a whim. I like it. I like it. All right. I kind of changed the design here of the handle just a little bit. So I'm going to say there's a bit of a shadow here. I'm actually going to put a little bit stronger right in that one spot as it's coming down. You love the soft tones. Yeah, it's very calming, very a very restful painting. And when I put the colors in, they're still going to be soft. They're going to be very, very soft and calming tones. I need a little bit of that shadowy bit right here. Maybe a little bit here. Sort of like how the watercolor dances across. We can make that soften up just a little bit. I just cleaned my brush, rinsed it just a bit. You know, if there's a little paint left in it, it's no big deal. I'm tipping this up because it's such a light painting. If I go back down here, you can see most of it, but it's such a soft painting that you can't see all of the paint. So I'm kind of tipping it up. I'm playing dangerously. I'm going to say there's a bit of a shadow of that stem, a bit of a shadow from the lip of the pitcher. Like that. I want to take some of that darker color very carefully. I'm just going to try and work it around some of the petals inside here so that it feels like there's some depth to the picture. Oh no, big hugs, Amy. Absolutely. And this painting is a nice hug, isn't it? Nice hug. We're going to put some of that darker color on the inside of the lip, inside of that rim. The light shining on it is sort of flowing around. You've got, just going to soften that up. So this is a lovely little calming type of painting to ease you into the day. Just take your time. I'm just looking, like I said, I'm just looking at that reference and going, well, how can I adapt that? I'm going to go ahead and dry this, since I want to put the tea in. And I know that it says that it shows as coffee because it's got froth. We're not doing froth. We're going to put a nice, probably a nice deeper tone, kind of carries on that color from the background down into the cup. It's going to be a deeper toned image, or a deeper toned liquid. So we're going to dry up here on the flowers just a bit, that center. We're going to come down and dry the cup so that I can put the tea in the cup. I just don't want it to go flowing all over the way. Yeah, the little tag like that, I'm not going to put anything on it, but you can certainly, if you were using this as a design for the front of a card or something like that, you could put a little sentiment right on that little tag. You know, blessing tea. Hashtag drink more tea. Absolutely. Aw, Amy, we love you too. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you to my community who are so kind and so caring. I absolutely love you all. I'm going to take, maybe it's a chamomile tea. So it's kind of yellowish. It has a touch of a blue green, well, a touch of blue in it to make it go a little bit green. I don't want it to be too dark. I want it to be tea-like. I've got a piece of hair in my puddle. There we go. So let's go ahead and just start putting the tea in. The tea is darker to the back. Darker to the front. It's going to be lighter to the back. So I'm going to go ahead and say there's a bit of some reflection here. I don't want it to feel like it's, and maybe I'll put the reflection in. I'll put the reflection in with some, maybe a little bit of gouache. Or, ooh, no, that's actually looking pretty good. I'm thinking maybe a little bit more yellow. Yeah, I want it to be a little bit more yellow. So I'm just working this in. The paint does lift on this paper, as I've said, really, really well. So if you like an area, don't go back over it. But if you don't like an area, you can actually lift it up and move it around. See how I can lift out my highlight that I want. Just lifting out, I'm drying off my brush and taking my slightly damp brush in. Oh, that's working. See, sometimes you just have to play with it, see what it's going to do. That goes right up to the edge. I think I'm going to take just some of that tea tone down onto the tag. Just a little. Doesn't that look like the light is glowing through that tea into that cup? Ah! I think that's beautiful. I don't think I need to mess with that tea anymore. What do you think? Well, thank you so much, Amy. I make it look effortless. You've got, and Serendipity Jan has a mug of yogi chamomile and dandelion tea. So how'd I do for the color then, Jan? How'd I do for the color? Artnery, welcome. Hey, and now, now you draw Ariana Grande. Angela, that's something that might come at a future date, but today, probably not so much. I'm going to dry this, and we're going to start using the watercolor pencils that I have here. These are the Arteza watercolor pencils. I do have links down below for Arteza. I'm not sure if I've got the watercolor pencils linked. If I don't, I will get them linked. But it's an affiliate link, so if you buy anything, then I get a small commission from Arteza. So, Angela, thank you so much. I'm not actually a portrait artist, so probably not right now. I'd have to get so much better because I love Ariana Grande and I would not want to do a painting of her that didn't look like her. So probably not right now, but maybe in the future. That would be after the piano. That's right. That's right, Sue. I have to figure out a piano first. But as people know that come to my marathon art shows, there are times when I do take requests from the community. I just have to figure out a little bit more how to do some of those things. But Angela, thank you so much for being here. Hey guys, if you're new here and you like what you see, make sure and click that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you'll be notified when new videos go up. And if you really like this particular one, make sure that you click the like button. If you came in late and you didn't remember to click it, click that like button. I'd love to get us up to 50 likes on this show. We're going to have to move quick to get them, though, because we're working our way through here on this calm and easygoing show today. I'm going to put I'm going to keep the paintbrush. I'm just going to put it over to the side, get that one out of my way. And I'm going to wipe this paint that's on the edge so that I don't drag my hand through it. And thank you guys. Yeah, you know, it's so nice to be able to spend time doing something that makes us happy. So I did use these colors on just a little tiny sample. Let's see. Without doing any pen outline. I was just testing the colors to see if I like them. I think I do. I think I like these colors. So I drew up the pot of succulents with the cup of tea. That one's coming up in just a couple days. Tomorrow is going to be this one. And it's going to be sort of pretty bright colors, autumn colors in that. It's very simple. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So that'll be tomorrow. And if you're interested in the artwork, I'm just letting that sit for a second. I have my 30 cozy and creative hand-drawn designs to print and color. It's an instant download that you can get from Teespring. There's a link at the top of the chat. There will be a link up here in the iCard after the show and a link down below in the more information. And it's an instant download of all of the designs. So let's take a look. That's where we started, and that's where we are. And that's the reference. So if you want to take a screenshot, you can. Take a screenshot of that. You can see how it's going. I think it's going pretty darn well. And then tomorrow's painting is going to be this one. The succulents is coming up in 2 more days. And that one's going to be a bit of an adventure. That one's going to be a bit of an adventure. I'm excited. And if you're interested, yesterday morning, we did this one. And these are all listed in the playlist that is in the iCard. So the cup with the little sketchbook and tablet. And then we did chocolate mint last night. So lots of fun. This series is just making my heart so happy. You subscribed last week, Tara Lee. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Oh, and Michelle's fuzzy slippers. Michelle is the one who requested that I do some fuzzy slippers. So I did these really cute fuzzy bunny slippers, and that became the cover for the book. And I am working on the Amazon book so that if you don't have a printer, you'll be able to buy the book from Amazon. And my goal is to have it all published no later than Friday. So, that's my goal. All right, so now what I want to do, I'm going to go in, zoom in, I think. Let's zoom in. Zoom in. There we go. And let's see if I can, I think I'm going to take that down and stretch it just a little bit so we can see a little bit more of the detail in that picture. Now, as you can see, I did not follow exactly the way the petals are all shaped. My petals are a little more pointy, but the centers are very similar. We're going to work these colors in. So right now I have the honey color, watercolor pencil, by Arteza. You know it's watercolor because it has the little brush on the handle. If you have regular colored pencils, let's see, can I find, I can't find the honey one right away, but this is sunflower yellow. So these are the expert colors. This is the regular colored pencil, and it's got a round barrel. Really nice. I love this set. I have 120 colors of those. And then the honey color here, you see how it's shaped more like a just a regular color or regular pencil that you would use from school. It has that hexagon, six-sided. Can't really see it, but it's got the flat edges, flat sides. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in, and you don't have to be super careful. This is watercolor. We are going to take our we're going to take a brush and we're going to soften the colors up, but I'm not going to do that until after I got, you know, first layers of color all the way around. Makes it like a magic coloring book. Did you ever get one of those magic coloring books that had the dye ink that was printed on it, and all you did was take your brush and brush over the lines, and it would release that dye ink, and you could color things just with the ink on the paper? So that's there. I'm going to take this rust orange for my shadow on the backs of these. See how I'm doing that? You don't have to color super hard. I am just laying some color on. Tear, as in to tear a piece of paper. So Tara. Excellent. Your son has 2 of those coloring books? Awesome. So you could make him coloring pages if you get yourself some watercolor pencils. You can draw simple shapes and designs, because I know he's a little one right now, and put the watercolor pencil along the lines. Then he can brush his paintbrush over it, and it will make the colors move. And that's a really nice way to make a gift for a kid. You could even, you know, maybe not this set, but you can even buy, I'm going to be doing lots of different types of designs and things like that as we're going along through the year, trying to make a book at least every other month and maybe every month. I don't know. That's going to be interesting if I can get one every month. But, oh, that looks really pretty. And you wouldn't even have to get that wet, would you? I think I need, let's see, is that brighter than my honey yellow? Yeah, I think it is. Ooh, yeah. So this is the sunflower yellow. This is like the sunflower yellow. There. Now you can see sunflower yellow and sunflower yellow. And they keep the same numbers between the sets. So the round one is the colored pencil. The hexagon is the watercolor pencil. Speaking of bunny slippers, yeah. It's been a long time since I've watched Mulan, so I'd have to go back and see what that reference was. Okay, so I'm just putting some drops of that bright yellow in there. I'm going to grab, let's see. I've got a pear green, which is kind of a yellowy green. And looking at this, this is a little bit bright, but I want to make sure that I can get a little bit of highlight And if you notice, my pencils are not very sharp. I know that would drive a lot of people nuts, and it does drive me a little bit nuts. I think I'm going to sharpen this one just a bit. So I've got a pencil sharpener here. It's called a Sharp Tank. I don't want to sharpen it too far. So look at that. Nice and sharp. And it works really well for colored pencils and the watercolor pencils. I just wanted to work that in and get that onto the backs of some of these. And I'm not worried if my color ends up going outside of the lines. Those lines are just sort of reference points to get me started. I will get my green leaves probably wet before I do the flowers, because it looks like I'm going really close to my petals, and I don't want to move the blue once I get it in there. But so this is the pear green. Pear green is really nice because it feels like it gives you yellow and green at the same time. Just getting some of that in. Are the Arteza watercolor pencils best in my opinion? You know, the actually the Albrecht Dürer Faber-Castell watercolor pencils are my absolute favorite. But as a way to get a big set of watercolor pencils that do really nice, I would certainly go with the Arteza, especially if you're watching budget. You get a lot more pencils for the price. And they say that they have some light fastness. That's these little plus marks that are on there. That's their light fastness rating. So 1+ would be very, very little light fastness. 3+ is much better. Most of their watercolor pencils are marked 3. Rust Orange. Rust Orange is a 1+. So I believe that is the least. And it's the red that they use in it to make the rust, I think, is fugitive, which means that it will fade over time. But it's very difficult to find. They don't have pigment information on these to know what kind of colors they're using in these pencils. I think the Albrecht Dürer, you can find out what the pigments are. See, and just even that is already looking so pretty. Let's zoom out just a second and see. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? At any point where you feel comfortable, you can stop. I am actually looking at this going, I'm going to just put a tiny bit. This is the indigo blue. It's a little bit more blue. I'm just going to put a tiny touch of that back here. We'll soften it up just a little bit. That just gives me a little bit more of an edge to the table. Just that. That just makes me happy. All right, so we're going to go back here, zoom in on these flowers. And focus. There we go. So, easy peasy. Now I'm going to use the sapphire blue as my lighter blue and show you here. The sapphire blue is a softer blue than the indigo. The indigo is much darker. And when you get them wet, just grab a little brush. When you get them wet, look at how pretty that is. So that's the sapphire. That's the indigo. And if you wanted to take your colors with you and you didn't want to take a whole bunch of pencils, you can fill up a sheet, just scribble the watercolor pencil right onto a sheet of paper, and you can make yourself your own tiles. It's kind of like the Viviva watercolor, except that this is a drier medium. Oh, that's pretty. And you see how nicely this watercolor does liquefy, and you don't end up with a lot of scribbles. Now right here at the top, I did actually scribble pretty hard. So if I pick that up, you can see. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. You had Prismacolor watercolor pencils in college and they were stolen out of your satchel. Yes. Prismacolor watercolors are very nice also. I do like them. I think I can deal with this one. I'm going to take the sapphire blue out on the tips. The indigo blue is going to be more to the inside, center. And these are going to be, they're white daisies, but they're going to have a bit more of a blue cast than I think the photo shows. The photo shows more gray. It's much more gray. But let me see here. Really enlarge that for a second. It's not super focused, but we can look at it. So this is much more of a gray than a blue, but I'm taking some artistic license. You can kind of see the blue-gray down in the bottom left side. So let's just move that back over here. And I'm just going to put these, this is just dropping in some color. You don't have to color it super hard. And once you've got some of the petals colored, you can pick up the paint and move it from flower to flower. The reason why I'm putting the blue out on the tips is because I've got some of that background onto the flowers. And I do want them to be separated from the background. That's the reason. So if you wanted to know why I'm doing it like this, but the background color is very soft, and so it's just going to become part of the texture of the flower. There we go. And I'm holding my pencil kind of far back, mostly so that you can see where my hand is. I generally get right up on top of things, but that's hard for you to see. So, and it's actually better for me because I'm sitting at the table with this slanted in front of me to hold it back a little bit. See, I crawled right up that pencil again. But watercolor pencil is so nice because you can get that color very precisely where you want it, but then you can move it around with your brush. You can use a big brush and just like swipe over everything, or you can use little brushes and you can get right in and just liquefy those little spots and keep much more control on it. So there we go. And thank you. If you've just come in, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. Please click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications if you are interested in my style of art. All month long, I am going to be doing cozy and sometimes indulgent art. There's going to be a chocolate chocolate peanut butter fudge milkshake coming up soon. That was another community request. Josie had requested that one. So hopefully she'll come back when we do that painting. Fun stuff. And then we have succulents with a cup of tea coming up, another request from the community. So some fun plants. There's a gorgeous cat. I absolutely love the cat sitting on the coffee table with the vase and the branches. So that was kind of indulgent for me. I was a little bit stressed when I was actually drawing it because I kept feeling like the cat was looking like it was looking very dog-like for a while. But with perseverance and positive reinforcement from my community, I made it through. And that's something else. If you want to be part of a fun and welcoming community of artists, we have a Facebook page, a Facebook group that are both under the name Deliberately Creative. I do post almost daily on Instagram, and that's Deliberately Creative. So there we go. Please join us. We have a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and get this wet and then see if we actually need some of the, if we actually need any of the indigo blue. I think I do. I need some indigo blue right down deep, but I'm not going to worry about that too much yet. When I teach, so Ayan Swede TV, you haven't used watercolors in a very long time. You know, I use watercolors more like a coloring medium. So if you are interested in, coloring things, I kind of use my watercolors like a coloring medium. So I work in small areas. I do, like I did go in and do this background, made that sort of marble table. Very easy technique. So, you can do it. I doodle with the paint. I don't get stressed out if it's not, doing everything I want it to do all the time. Sometimes you just have to go with it, relax, and not be afraid of it. I think a lot of people who do acrylic and who do colored pencil and even oil paints tend to be a little bit hesitant to play with watercolor. And I am here to tell you that, oh my gosh, playing is the key word here. I play with the watercolors. I'm just having a fun time. I am actually liquefying most of the blue and sort of pulling it across the white petals. But if I don't end up liquefying all of them, it looks pretty even when it's just colored. But see how nice? Let's see if we can do the close. This is a little farther out, but it's still, you can see I'm just touching it and wiggling the tip of the brush. The brush is just damp. It's not sopping wet. Hello, Sarah. Nice to meet you. When you're painting, it's nice to hear me talking about it. That's excellent. I'm so glad. There's so many people that do teach watercolor out on YouTube. And it's not that it's a saturated group. it's not that it's that I can't break into it, but because I am doing this, I guess you'd say it's more of a crafter's way of painting. It's an art, but you're still an artist. You're still, truthfully. Now, I am painting on the original drawing that I did during the marathon, where I did all 30 designs. But even if you're not the person who did the original artwork, you're collaborating with me when you paint. If you are painting on printouts of the designs that I drew, you're actually collaborating with me. And you are an artist collaborator. So if you were to print it out, you would say designed by or drawn by Stephanie from Deliberately Creative, and then colored by or painted by your name. So you do get an artist byline on it as a collaborator. Sorry, I do kind of jump around when I'm talking, and I get lost when I'm talking sometimes. Hello, Sarah. Yeah. And Happy New Year. Yeah, you like the cup? The cup is fun, isn't it? And the vase, I think, is really fun also. These flowers. The whole thing is a fun and cozy type of painting. Very warm, very, very much bringing you into the new year with, it feels kind of joyful. It's also very cozy. I think we need to remember to get ourselves some flowers every once in a while, or find somebody who will buy you flowers every once in a while if you like bringing flowers in. Grow some flowers in your garden when that time comes so that you can cut flowers and bring them inside. We have a rose bush that's been growing on the side of the house for, well, the entire time we've lived in this house, which is over 30 years. We did not plant the rose bush. It was here, so I don't know how old it is actually. But it grows the prettiest long stem pink roses. You're making a field journal from scratch and planning to sketch with watercolors. Oh, yeah. Ian, thank you so much. What's weird, Amy? Let's see. I just had to click on that. Because I don't have... I have some things that are blocked for words, and some of the things, even if you're not doing what it says that's blocked, I have to release the message. So I'm glad I saw that, Jan. Thank you. Yeah. Welcome to all of our new friends that are joining us. And if you like, this type of art chat, calm type of artwork, painting, this is my style. This is me. You're not getting anything made up or fake here. I'm exactly what you hear. And if you ever read anything that I've written, which is very little, except for blog posts and things like that, I write very much the way I speak. So you would still hear my voice. So it's kind of nice that when I talk like this, you get to know me a little bit. You get to know my voice, and I'm just wetting down that stripe at the back. And that's just giving us sort of an edge to the table back there. And now I think I am going to go ahead and put I'm going to release the message here, Anne. Since I don't know, I will check out your channel, But make sure that that's the only time you talk about subscribing to your channel, when you're on somebody else's, because it's not always accepted. But I am going to release that. So let's see. Is it going to... Maybe it will release it. Nope, it's giving me an error. Okay. So it's giving me an error. I'm going to get back to painting. So yeah, making sure that you are... If you become a participant in our community a lot, I will do sharing of different people's... Save the 3rd for her February series. Oh, who's making... Is somebody doing something? These are Arteza watercolor pencils. Yes. But I did the background with this palette. It's just one of those fan palettes that you can get very inexpensively on Amazon. Make sure that you're not spending more than, $15, $16 on Amazon in the US. Now, I'm not sure what the pricing would be in other countries, so please check it out and see, what looks good for pricing for you. The links are down below in the more information. Oh, okay, thanks, Anne. I will check out your channel, though, because I want to see. And we do check out each other's channels a lot. I'm taking my indigo blue, and I'm going to go sort of deeper in. I'm going to zoom back. Let's change back so we can be zoomed in so you can see a little bit closer. I'm going to go in and put some of that indigo blue right down close to the center, right near those petals, so I can get kind of a shadowy feel. And maybe some of the petals that look like they're underneath. There we go. And here I thought going in with the colored pencil would make this faster. I think I've been chatting a lot more today. Just putting some of that color in. By putting it down deep next to the center, it makes it feel like the petals are actually joined to it and coming out. You see how that's looking? And you don't have to liquefy the watercolor pencil if you like how it looks. That's the cool thing, is this is just a stick of watercolor pigment, So you can use it all different ways. You can use it as watercolor, or you can, oops, get that back. Or you can use it like a colored pencil. And then you don't have that waxy buildup that you get with regular colored pencils, but you would need to put it, if you were doing something that you wanted to keep and not possibly have it get damaged, you would need to frame it under glass, just like you would frame a watercolor, because the pencil would activate with water. So you want to be careful. See, every once in a while I rotate my pencil. I do that subconsciously. I don't consciously think, turn the pencil. But it's a way to have sort of edges show up on your pencil. It's kind of hard to see because I'm kind of blunt, but it's actually got little edges, little facets, almost like a gem that's sort of building up. And by rotating it, I can keep getting to those little sharp edges, and I don't have to sharpen the pencil. But this is just watercolor pencil, and it's the Arteza watercolor pencils. So I do have links in my description to Arteza. I do have links in my description to Amazon, both Amazon Canada and Amazon US. I need to get more things into my Amazon Canada store, but if you don't see something that I'm recommending in the Amazon Canada store, once you've clicked the Amazon Canada link and go to Amazon, I still get credit if you make purchases off of things that you find in other areas on the store. Oh, that's looking pretty. So after this show today, I'm going to be working on the book for Amazon. I'm also working on some ideas for some quotations. So if you have a favorite quotation, and if you know who said it, please leave me a comment in the comments after the video and tell me your favorite quotation. I'm looking for ones that are uplifting, positive, maybe a little bit, love, kind of like love for friends and love for family, your love for, different people, platonic type love. Nothing, I'm not looking for ones that are sexual, and I'm not looking for ones that are too funny. I don't mind a good giggle, but, not too funny. I'm not going for ribald humor. Or ribald. So, not too much on the comedian side of things, but if it's funny or sweet, I would love to see. I'm looking at doing some designs that I draw up on my iPad in sort of a symmetrical. Everything is going to be on pages that are shaped like these, the half sheet, half of a 8.5 by 11. So, and I'm pretty much going to try and do everything so it's upright. And that way, if people want to make cards, they can make cards from them. Or would you rather buy packs of cards that I've colored that have sentiments on them? I kind of like the interactive idea of books, of these kinds of books, where we are sharing our time together. So again, leave me comments and let me know if what you think, what you Well, Miss Amy, you're just going to have to clean up the act. Just saying. There's nothing saying that I won't do a more we might do a naughty humor type of coloring book or cards or quotations or things. It can be kind of, I have seen some there that are quite fun, actually, that have a sort of that double entendre type of feel to them, where if you read it and you don't have a mind that thinks that way, it's not going to be naughty. But if you have a mind that thinks a certain way, it could be kind of naughty. The naughty funny, but not mean and not dumb meaning. So, but possibly I want to do something that's Valentine related. And I know I was talking about this last night too. Yeah, see, these are going much more blue now. But they still feel like they have a lot of white, which is good. They have that highlight of the white. There we are. Get that dark shadow. I do really like So when I'm painting, I really like the Prussian blue. I like indigo blue. Indigo is a bit more bright. It's a bit more made with the ultramarine, I think, type of colors. It has a bit more of a purple tone to it, but not too much. Indigo is one of my favorite colors in colored pencils for shadows, especially on white things. My brush is so dry. It's barely damp. I am just pushing that color, just like wiggle, 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 and see how that just softens out. And yes, I can go back in and add some sparkly white highlights back in. I can use a gel pen. I could use a Prismacolor white pencil if I want soft, kind of glowing highlights. The white on the Arteza is good to use like a blending pencil, but not really good on the white Arteza colored pencils. It's good to use as a blending pencil, but it won't stand up as a highlight. No, they won't look weird if you do gray. It would just be they would just be softer. You would want to probably keep your gray. If you look at the reference, they're more gray. I'm taking my flowers into a blue, almost like a cornflower blue, but not quite, because I'm keeping more of the white highlights. If I get a big buildup of color on my brush, I might pick it up and move it to another spot, just like that. Or I will wipe it. I have a little paper towel here, and I will just sort of wipe. You're a sucker for blues and violets. Yeah, indigo blue, Prussian blue, violets, ultramarine blue, especially when you're doing skies. Phthalo blue. Phthalo blue does beautiful skies also. Different tone of blue. Tends to have more of a green shade, so it tends to go more turquoise. Where ultramarine blue goes more violet or purpley toned because it has more red in it. Let's see. I'm just working my way around, just looking at it, going, ooh, what are we doing over here? We need that. And I have not liquefied the centers yet. And I'm trying to decide if I really want to liquefy the centers. I kind of like the look of them, the way they are. I might try the white Arteza pencil to soften some of the blue. That might be fun. The white Arteza colored pencil to soften some of the blue. I may have got a little bit overzealous with my blue, but you know what? It's still very pretty. And it's okay. These are blue daisies. Maybe I'll just lean into that. They're blue daisies. Yeah, Bonnie, I just cut off about 4 inches of hair, but I haven't been to a hairdresser in 2 years. So I tend to just trim the ends and trim my bangs. And I've done that. I mean, I would go to a hairdresser like once every couple years just to do a radical change. But right now, it's holding me in good stead that I don't need to go. I have a sister who her hair is super, super short. She keeps it super, super short. So I'm not sure what she's doing. See, look at that. That is really pretty. I see. I want to push some color back into that on the inside. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm grabbing just a regular color pencil now. This is a storm gray. And I'm just going to work that in. Some of that area between flowers. Kind of get us deeper so the flowers look like they're standing up above. You don't have to do that. You could just take watercolor in and deepen up some of that tone. I just like, you know, it's already dry in there. Why not just take a dry pencil? This is wax. So now this pencil would become like a resist. And just fun. Just work it in the way you want it. Just work it in. Just go, maybe I want that to be a little darker in there too. I'm just saying it's inside this bouquet. The actual inside the bouquet is darker. There's lots of flowers in here. Lots of flowers we're not seeing. These are just the ones that are facing forward that we can see. Little touch of that. And I like that. I think, well, let's see. Let's see how see if that will, not really. See, that's what I was meaning about the white is more like a, it's harder. It's more like these colored pencils are more like the polychromo. They're harder wax. They do seem to have a good coverage, and they do blend pretty well when you're blending. I'm just gonna water that down. It looked a little funny to me. It was a little dry. There. So I think I'm going to grab a smidge of gouache. And I'm going to take just a bit of gouache with my little round brush. And I want to sparkle up some spots of these. See how that just goes, boom, right over the top of the watercolor. Just sparkle them up a little bit. It will pick up the watercolor, and it will quickly go to a blue. So kind of pay attention. If it starts to look like it's not brightening it up, go pick up a little more. There we go. Click that and that. See how that just softens those up though? It makes them feel even more painterly. Little drop. And if it goes outside, that's okay, because it's kind of like fun little extra petals are getting added. Just see that little tiny spark. Little spark. Not too worried about making them perfect. I'm just dropping some color around, and yeah, so I do this. I do this every single time, it feels like, where I feel like, oh, I'm just about done. And then I pick up the brush or I pick up a pen and I do something. And then it's like, oh my gosh, now I need to do that over the whole thing. because it would look funny if I didn't. But look at that. It makes a huge difference. So I'm willing to spend the time. I hope you are. I hope you're enjoying this. I know it's gone a little bit longer than I was expecting. At first I was thinking, oh, this is going to be super, super fast. But you know what? This is one of those paintings that you can stop at any point and make it exactly what you want it to be. You don't have to go and do every step that I've done. And you can make it just feel special. Look at that. Just dropping some color on. Now this one is going to be interesting because I did put some, there's a little bit of some wax pencil on here. So it's going to be interesting to see if I can get the paint to stick. There's some spots that got wax pencil and some spots that didn't, so it should stick. I can see it pull away in some areas, so I'm not going to worry about it. You're enjoying watching? How excellent. Thank you. Yeah, it's it's fun to be relaxed. It's fun to create art, create something, to feel like you've spent some time doing something, even if you're just watching and you're not painting along. You're painting along in your head. You're still building those connections. It's really interesting, but they're showing that even watching painting is almost as good. It's not quite as good, but it's almost as good as making the painting yourself. They've done studies with people who, would watch like Bob Ross and watch his paintings, and how their blood pressures would be so much better after just watching somebody painting and painting in. So, just because you're not actually painting, if you are, you're getting all those benefits also. Sparkle up this one down here, just because I want it to sparkle a little bit. And when I say sparkle, I'm just dropping some white onto it just to brighten it up just a smidge. Maybe a little bit on a couple of the little leaves here and there, not much. Yeah, see, that one needs some sparkle up high. So I think this one would be a really pretty cover on a journal. I do dot journals, so if anybody's looking for, fun artwork on the front of blank book, just little dot journal type journal books, I've got several that are from my autumn series of pictures. I'm going to be putting more of these cozy type art onto the front of dot journals. I know some people got them for Christmas. I think that's so cool. All right, oh, I see on that one. See, I wipe my brush and then it's like, oh yeah, I was going to put some little bit of white out here on the tips. So then it feels a little bit more highlighty. And I could always go back in and redefine some of these if I have yeah, the gouache brings it to life. But if there's like places that I wanted to bring a little bit more definition, I could go back in with my pen and define a little more. I think I like it this way. And I think I am going to find a pen so I can sign it. I might have to, start the pen because I forgot to put the little cap on it. Sorry about the tap, tap, tapping. It's kind of, just think of it like the brush beating that Bob did. Let's zoom out. Let's turn that reference picture off. Take a look here. So that's where we ended up. And this is where we started. So now if you wanted a reference, I just put my book in that blop of white gouache there. Oh well. So there you go. If you're interested in the book of designs, this is, sorry, I gotta wipe the gouache off the back. This is my 30 creative cozy hand-drawn designs. It is an instant download book. So you've got Pop-Tarts and jade plants and apple tarts and French press coffee, teapots and macarons. And this is my favorite kitty cat. Oh, I love that cat. That's going to be fun. We've got sunflowers coming up. We've got succulents, all kinds of things. And the link for that is up above in the chat and down below in the more information, and will be up in the corner. I was signing it. I'm going to sign it right here in the shadow. I just do a little initial box. It's sort of becoming my all the time signature. And now we're going to pull that tape off. Pulling off at kind of a 45-degree angle so it doesn't tear your paper. I've also, because I had heated the tape up just a little while ago to dry the painting, so the adhesive has released pretty much, but pulling it off at that 45-degree angle, very oblique, helps to keep it from tearing your paper. I love the look of this. I do see a couple little spots up on the corners where it leaked and where the paint leaked underneath. I'm just going to grab a touch of gouache. Mark just had to head out to work. I kept this one going much longer. Ooh. There. A couple little spots to clean up that where it leaked out. And look at that, guys. We have a beautiful beautiful pitcher filled with lovely blue tone daisies, a beautiful, gee, I cannot hold on to this, can I? A cup here of tea with a little tag that you can personalize to whoever you want it to go to. I love this. I hope that you are having a fun time with this series. Check out the book. Check out the more information for all the materials that I'm using. I will make sure that I get the colored pencils in the links down below, since that was a last minute decision. And remember to go out and do something creative. Take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. Tomorrow, I'm changing the time. It's going to be 11 a.m. I want to see if that works better for more of the community. And make sure that you check back in and see what we have going on, because it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you, guys. And take care.